Humam Abdulmalik, Blackanized, International Nubian consciousness, conscious chess moves. Once again before the sunrise, through meditation, through evaluation, self-evaluation, meditation, motivation, self-motivation, self-esteem, to speak the truth that I have learned through the chambers of the pyramid of my mind. I just want to share with us my journey on the pathway of our ancestors, being spiritually inclined, becoming spiritually inclined, overcoming my idiosyncrasies, the majority of them, because I'm not perfect, but I strive for perfection, so that I can be able to be an example of the truth that I speak. In the background, again, I'm playing Raheem Devon, because we still, our youth, our young warriors, who are at war with each other for some unbeknown reason, live like our temples are body-proof. And we got to overcome that idiosyncrasy by design that those in control have manipulated our mind through mass mind control methods that they're masters of, dealing with the frequencies, vibrations, and energy of the natural sciences that they stole from us ages ago, and have veils over our eyes of understanding of the universe, of the energy of the Creator, God, what they call it, this energy, this divine energy that is in our temple, our bodies. And we got to understand that this universe, we have to know ourselves in order to tap into it, so we can have an effect upon the universe, a profound effect. Just like those who be in their laboratories and be in their scientific laboratories, psychological laboratories, always trying to develop something, a way and means to bring us down, to bring us to under their control, mind control, the education of the control of our education system, through institutionalized racism, what we call white supremacy, institutionalized racism. See, it ain't about white and black. It's about black. It's about black taking our rightful place upon this planet once again. It ain't about being racism like they are, or taking on their nature, emulating them because of the materialistic comforts or way of life that they have garnered and hoarded and through their capitalistic system, their system of classism and their system of racism. See, we have to become, I'll just use this, colorblind, and be about us. Not racist, but race people, about us. We got to heal from within. We got to heal ourselves. We can be here and sustain ourselves in this system and all that, but we got to know that this system is not about us. We got to understand that this system is a natural war going on, and we are the victims of it, especially when we don't know it. When we accept this systematic social engineering of our being, of our mentalities, of our spirit, through all, I ain't gonna say edifices, I'll say all institutions that are in our society, then, excuse me one second, I'd like to go to another portion. That was about living our life like bulletproof. And these other two I'd like to listen to for us one is called, both of them pertaining to war. It's a personal war. There's a personal war going on, and then it's a war outside of ourselves, but the eternal war that we must fight against ourselves so that we can purify ourselves. I want to say good morning to Sister, that's Lynn Gard. No, that's a guy, Lynn Gard Sr. I humbly apologize, Brother Lynn Gard. Powell. peace, and love. Excuse me, that was my introduction, and I humbly apologize because I was speeding. I got to slow down. And so, peace, power, love, and power to us all melanated people on the whole globe. We got to unify, because this whole thing of white supremacy and institutionalized racism is a worldwide pandemic. They taught us in their story his lies about how they went in each and every country and just destroyed the people, destroyed the culture of the people, and took over the landmass. Took it over from us when here. Said they did it to the Native Americans, but that was us, and our evolutionary process, it became to the red man, but we was here first. They went into Akabula in Africa and did the same thing over there, then lied and said that they brought us all the way from Africa all the way to here. But the reality, we was in both spots. Long before they even thought about coming, getting in the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific, whatever way they got over here. And they lied about Christopher Columbus and talking about he reached America. He reached the West Indies and all that, looking for India. He wanted to go the other way, but he came this way and was lost, and they made that into a great find. How could he find anything when those people are already dead? That's a lie that they perpetrate every year. Every year they talk about Christopher Columbus. Every year they talk about Christmas. Every year they talk about Thanksgiving. Every year they talk about Valentine's Day. Every year they talk about Easter, and we eat it up. It is not our culture. We integrate and assimilate into their ideology and their mindset and practice these holidays, just like Valentine coming up, and we all caught up in this love syndrome. It ain't even about that. It's about the lumpus wolf. It's about the wolves coming together with their practice and having sex with virgins. That's on the back of Valentine's Day. Look it up. It's L-U-P-S-A. Lumpus, and lumpus mean the wolves. And they had a wolf clan. And this is what they do because they come out the cage dealing with the wolves. That's why they practice bestiality. But this practice of Valentine's Day, look at the other side of it. It ain't really about love. That's that's what they promote so they can get your money. Because everything is about money. It's a business, it's a corporation. That's the way to make money. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But to look at the mind effect, the subconscious effect of what you don't know is what really gets you. You practicing their holidays, and they know what they practicing, but they put a cover on it and have you practicing it also. Same thing with Christmas. Same thing with Thanksgiving. Same thing with all these hollow, unholy holidays. And we'll have a program on that one day where I go through the line and tell us about the other side of these so-called holidays. I ain't got nothing against them. I don't practice them, none of them, because they're European in their nature. They're European, Eurocentric in the whole essence of them. But it's another side to the coin of it. And when we don't know what we're practicing, we be practicing their pagan holidays, their pagan rituals. They call us pagan. They've been calling us pagan since they came in contact with us, but they stole our information. After they steal our information, all the sciences that they use today, or even back then, during the time when the Vatican in 1583 sanctioned slavery for us. Back in during that time when the so-called Muslims came in from East Africa and enslaved them brothers over in Tanzania and all that. I've been to Tanzania. I seen the story that the Tanzanians wrote about that. So I just ain't saying nothing, speaking against nothing, because I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim. I took my Kalima Shahada in 81. And I practiced Islam. I learned it. And then it's like, then I learned more about it. Then it came to me because the Creator opened this information up to me because I'm on the pathway of my ancestors. I found out that they had more slaves than the Europeans. And they made us into eunuchs and had our women as concubines. I know you heard me say this before, but you got to be redundant and reiterate so people can relate to what you're saying. I got to slow down. I'm talking too fast. I humbly apologize. Boy. But I want us to know that we got to come out their whole paradigm. This whole systematically identity trend of trying to be like emulating them. Ain't nothing wrong with making money and, getting abundance of money. But we got to do something with that money. We just can't give it back to them. We get all this money, our athletes or whatever. Then we take on a European bride, a Niagara Thal, instead of taking one our queens. Or then our queens do the same thing. We got the Serena, what her name? Serena. I mean, they do what they want. People do what they want to do. But if you don't do what you need to do, or what is a natural inclination for us to do, how can you go to your enemy? My brother Humam Abdulmalik, I apologize for not getting with you yesterday. I got to give you a call, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. And brother Oski, I humbly apologize for that. I humbly apologize for not announcing yours, because you just, as soon as I got on, you was there. Hope you don't fall asleep this morning. But anyway, I'm glad that the energy and the synergy that we have connecting and bonding to everybody that gets up at this time and tune in. Because the energy it gives me energy. It gives me rejuvenation. It gives me that power, that electrical power that I need as an electrical being. Who is that? How you doing, Sister Knight, Melissa? Oh, I'll turn this down. I was doing that. She said turn up my volume and see if I can do that. It's up. I got to just talk louder because I got something in the background, because I want something to hit us also. I got Raheem Devon on the radio, not the radio, the CD. I played Living Our Life Like We Living Our Life Like We Bulletproof. I want to send a message. I want it, for later on. Oh, she's saying it. Oh, man. I'm going to turn that down, people, because this sister want me to turn up the volume. She can't hear the volume. I humbly apologize, but I got to let this play because it's sending a message also. And then when it go off, you'll hear me better. And then when you can hear it better, because after that goes off or you re-look at it or whatever. But I was talking about us dealing with these hollow, unholy holidays. Because we practice them like, we get madness, and we talking about Valentine's Day when we express love. Okay, she said it was on her end. Thank you, my sister. Appreciate that. But anyway, love is love, and love is eternal first and foremost. We got to love ourselves before we can love anybody else. And everybody enhances our love, because the love is part of our temple, inside our temple, the energy of the Creator. That I got to say God, so we can all have an understanding. But it's energy, and everybody give us a different name, from Islamic to Christianity to Hebrew, whatever. But I'll just say God for just a lack of better words, and just saying energy. The creative energy is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about nature. I'm talking about, the natural process of things, from the matriarchy queens, our sisters, that all life come through. And that's what we gotta collectively get on the right track and understand the babble of the Bible. We gotta understand that concept of Adam and Eve is a concept of disbelief, not on our part, but on their part, because they created the illusion that they went and stole from us off the walls of ancient Kemet. When the sister Shestatat, I'm going to get that correct pronunciation of her name, the Pharaoh needed some information to lead the people. So he went to this matriarchic, beautiful queen and told her that, and she brought him the fruit of knowledge. It was the fruit of knowledge, so he can see, so he can lead righteously. It wasn't that she got something from the Satan, from self. That's where they get Satan from self. Because because it's Asar, Aset, Heru, and Seth. Seth is the one who killed Asar, and mutilated him and took his body parts and put them all over that's Aset, all over everywhere, and they was found by Asar and put back together everything except the phallus. So, and then that's the devil, Seth, and they was brothers. So, but it's all about personalities and characterizations of who we are and how we grow into a divine being. That energy of the Creator that's in us, we don't become God, we become God-like in our personality and characters, how we carry ourselves and stuff like that. And we got to get into that and to grow and develop as spiritual beings, as who we truly are, not the carnal self, not dealing with the five senses, beyond the five senses. Your third eye open when your pituitary and your pineal gland activated by the melanin, the melatonin, and your perception is enhanced because your subconscious and your conscious mind merge and they come together, so you see with more clarity. You see beyond the five senses. You see with your inner standing, so that you can understand or overstand your reality. The inner verses propels you to a greater understanding of the universe. The inner verse is within you, and you get there by understanding, by knowing thyself, what our ancestors left over the initiation doors when we go into study. You got to study yourself. You got to know thyself, because everything is within self. It's in our DNA, divinely left there when it's awakened. See, but they try to, through poisoning our food, poisoning our air, poisoning our water, and the frequencies and that they control through the heart machine and all the things they do in their laboratories to keep veils over our eyes, so that when we do look with our physical eyes, we can't see because we be having our eyes wide shut. So they keep that over our physical eyes so that we can't open that spiritual eye. The spiritual eye, so that we can be more collectively, so that we can be more as a teacher, more as a gatherer, a more of an example of peace, of harmony. In time of peace, we prepare for war. The war is with ourselves first and foremost, so that anything that we do, it be from a context of being from spiritual inclinations. And we do everything that we do from the act of love. Love is every day, not just one day, not a holiday, hallowed, unholy day. And we got to come out of all their holidays and go black through African spirituality and counter everything they do and practice it or celebrate on a righteous basis, not with an undertow or underline on the other side where we practice. It'd be a practice of paganism, and they call us pagans, and that's the reality. Like Lumpus, like the Wolf Clan, that's what they get. They get versions together on this day where they practice it in their little circles and deal with sexuality and all that. There's information on that. I'll get the information in a later program, and I'll go through all that, all the holidays, all the unholy holidays. And it's also financial, because like Thanksgiving and Christmas and Black Friday, within those 3 periods right there, don't you know we spend $3.1 trillion for a lot of things that is unneeded or whatever, because we be caught up in that syndrome of a hollow, unholy holiday. It's about business with them, because this is a corporation. That's what we need to do. We need to establish corporations. We need to become entrepreneurs. We need to become producers. We need to not be consumers. We consume everything that they put out, every contraption that come out. We consume. We get it. Boom, boom. Not saying that there's a need, not a need for it, but it's overkill for overthrill. I'll put it that way. And I also like to say, yesterday I went to the Brother Circle again at Union Temple. First they was doing choir practice. They was up there blowing, that gospel. I mean, that spiritual, that connection with the spirit, where they had the connection with that energetic energy, that creative energy, giving praise to what they worship and what they believe in, because they practice Christianity, and I say you can practice all of it as long as it don't derive from insanity, because it got to be a connection, because we're the most populated people in every institutionalized religion, whatever it may be. Excuse me 1 second. Because it's our people, right? That's why I have a love or an understanding of every institutionalized religion, because our people is there. I love my people. I love the melanin. I love the carbonated essence of us as a people. I love our spirit as a people. I love everything about us as a people. That's why I'm a race man. I'm not racist, but I know what we've been through, the traumatic slave syndrome. We still affected from it, and we got to overcome it. They talk about don't play the race game and slavery over. It's over, but we still enslaved financially, economically, spiritually, and all. They took off the physical chains and gave us an illusion of freedom. When the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect, we weren't free, because where could we go? We didn't own anything, so we had to develop all this thing. But look at us now. Every position of everything, we are there. We dominate every position that they allow us in, because really we're the original people that's supposed to be there anyway. And we got to realize that about ourselves, about our nature, who we are as a people. But back to the Brothers Circle again. I need to go there because I need rejuvenation, right? I need that energetic shock to be around my brothers, to see what we feeling, what we talking about, and that I can regurgitate some of my feelings of emotional pain or whatever I'm going through, the battle between my heart and my mind for whatever situation that I find myself in, that I have to go through that, because it's a natural process when you be in a situation like that. So I go there for rejuvenation and listen to whatever thing said and all that. Last night, the topic, it wasn't a topic, but, homosexuality came up and stuff like that. And it was, in my mind's eye, I say it's a program of depopulation. I say that it's all by design. And the reason that I say that, because on my pathway, in the pathway of my ancestors growing up, right, coming home from school and all that, looking at cartoons, man, our cartoons was on the one. We had Bugs Bunny, we had the Road Runner, we had Deputy Dog, and we had all these type of cartoons, Mighty Mouse and all that, Speedy Gonzales and all that. But they were cartoons geared to what? Geared to a natural aspect, but they did have their subliminal suggestions in a lot of cartoons, especially Walt Disney, and that subliminal suggestions was about sexuality and pedophile and all that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these cartoons. We couldn't see that then, right? It wasn't known then, but they were straight up, right? They was heterosexual cartoons. I mean, they was based on nature, the correct nature, not homosexuality. But in this era and time, or a little before, say 20 years ago, I think maybe 20, it had to be about 20, something like that. Maybe a little longer, a little shorter, they started promoting homosexuality in the cartoons. They weren't back there when I was growing up, when I was a little younger. In the cartoons and the comedy shows, we did have Flip Wilson, but he was acting. But the day in the comedy satires or whatever, they had promotion of two men, two women in the relationship. So they promoting homosexuality. And it's everywhere. It's in our churches. They say it's all right, it's cool. And some, it ain't. I mean, in masjid, it ain't. But some of them fools come together and develop their own masjid and be about that and promote it. Ain't got nothing to do against a human being. But your actions are unnatural. And they're being promoted because it's about depopulation. Because in a relationship of two women or two men, there's no reproduction. See, they are dying out naturally, a lack of melanin, and they can't stand the sunlight because it causes cancer in them. But we are protected from the ultraviolet rays of the sun through our melanin. See, our skin absorb that. We absorb the light of the sun, the heat of the sun. But they can't. And it's a scientific fact that their reproduction process is down, their birth rate is down and everything. So they want to bring about a depopulation in our progress of procreation. We got to understand that. But we also got to understand that sex is sacred. Sex is not a pastime, pleasure principle. Sex is sacred, and we have to deal with it in its sacred context. Sex and love, those are sacred words that we have to develop in our being as men and women, as God and goddesses, as brothers and sisters in our relationships. A matriarchy queen, we got to hold in high esteem and put on a pedestal where she belongs. Because she's been through so much over a period of time. The rapes, not only did she get raped, they had, they say, buck breaking plantations. When they brought us over and got to, like, Jamaica, that's why the Jamaicans are so harsh on these people. Because that's where they landed to do that, one of the places. Where they raped the man, the strongest man, they raped him in front of everybody to break him down. But see, that's force, homosexuality. This thing now is like by the design. It's like you be around it and it be promoted so much. Like I said, it's in the cartoons, it's in the comedy satire now. And it wasn't like that. They talk about it in the church and all that. They be marrying homosexuals to the same gender in the churches. It's insane. It's insanity. You're going against nature. And that's what, like religion and all that, the institutionalized religion and all that. When you go against nature, that is the true religion. Natural sequences is really religion. Or the way of life is natural. Things that happen natural by divine decree. And in that sense, that's where we come from. The natural sequence of things. Anything other than that, we're dealing with an unnatural act. And we got to realize that. We got to just speak the truth. As they promote the falsehood, we got to promote the truth. We got to let our people see and let them know that where they're going ain't a natural road. Even though their mentality is like caught up on it. But if we touch their heart and touch their mind, touch that divine essence in them by speaking the truth and being an example of strength, then we can turn this whole thing around. What we got to do as spiritual beings, as race people. We got to teach our people in dealing with trying to develop this foundation of harmony and peace and love. We got to reteach our people to rethink, re-speak, react, and be examples of righteousness. If this temple, what we call our body, houses the energetic energy of the Creator, then we got to be in that essence. We got to come out of the concepts and deal with the reality. We got to manifest the reality, the thoughts. We got to manifest the dream. We got to manifest our thoughts in the reality and be examples of what we speak. We got to walk what we talk and talk what we walk. In the establishment of a greater community, a community of self and a collective community. We have to reach our young adults, our young youth, that's out there at war. It's a war going out there, a self-inflicted war that creates self-inflicted genocide. We got to stop it. We got to go in that cesspool, in that trench where this stuff is happening, and talk to our brothers. I'm in Ward 8, Washington, D.C. I know people all from all around, like my brother Bilal, he's from Cleveland. I don't know where my sister Melissa from, but this is a worldwide pandemic. It's a worldwide attack upon us as a people. They want to get rid of 5 billion people of the almost 8 billion people now, but they want to get rid of 5 billion people. Why? I don't know. It's the insanity of these people. The Bill Gates, the President Carter when he was, and the Ronald Reagans and all. They implementing this because this is their new world order. This is their insanity of the Kabul states, of the Federal Reserve and the IRS and the Vatican and all that. We got to realize that our enemy, natural enemy, is real. It's real as this breath of life to keep us alive. But we got to thrive and maintain and sustain ourselves like we have. The Creator has allowed us to go through all this that we've been through as a people and individually to be where we at. I done been 60 revolutions around the sun. I'm here, and I done been through everything and done everything that we can think of. I've been in the cesspool of the abyss of negative energy. I've been there. I know what it's like. But it was fun and folly for me. And everything I've done was in that perspective. Sometimes out of paranoia, fear, whatever, my proactive action was based on that. Protecting what I believed that I was doing in my peer group or whatever. But I had to change. I went to college and I changed. I became a streetologist, got a PhD in that. I've been, learned Islam, and I used to read the Bible a long time ago. I used to hang out at a church. But then the Creator blessed me through my ancestors or whatever. That's a natural process. What they call the third eye, whatever, open, and now all that is enhanced. And now my love for my people and myself is enhanced. So this is the pathway I walk. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have a lot of money. But my wealth is my lineal wealth connected to my ancestors. That's my richness. And the truth that I speak is my wealth. And that when I touch a heart or touch a mind and they change or say that what you said to me is the truth, that motivates me more to stay on this pathway of the divine decree that the Creator has put into me and is into them because they received it. All it is the synergy, that electrical energy that connects us all, that divine energy. So when it's touched and it comes to life, it becomes static. And that's what we got to do as a people. That's what I'm doing. No matter what, that's my aim and purpose in this portion of my life. It always been that, but I had to go through all the trials and tribulations to get here. Even though I still go through trials and tribulation, not as those ones that had me on the negative path. This right here, these trials and tribulations only make me stronger to stay on the pathway of my ancestors. Or like my Islamic brothers say on the Siratul Mustaqim, the straight way. And my actions and my conduct and my character, it be on a righteous frequency or whatever, or holy frequency. Is just like that. It's my nature to be that way. It's my eternal nature. It's prescripted in my DNA. See, they don't want us to know that we're supposed to rise up to be God-like. They don't want us to know that we don't use much of our brain, percentage of our brain. They don't want us to know that we can go beyond the 5 senses and tap into the energy and become so energetic that we can do things. We become alchemists. Alchemy is you can change and mold and shape substances, change coal to diamonds and mud to gold or whatever, as an alchemist can do. We can become mystical and magical in our endeavors. But we need that righteous attitude. We have to get into esoteric studies. We have to get into arcane studies. We have to study voodoo, so-called voodoo. See, they took everything from us and said that it was evil and this and that to keep us away from it. Like they say, the mark of the beast is talking about minerals, talking about 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. Neutrons, protons, and electrons, 6 each, right? And that's the mark of the beast, right? But they say it's the Antichrist. Antichrist, and listen to it, the mark of the beast and the Christ ain't nothing but a title. Or anointing in the light of Christ. See, light and darkness come together and they merge like the conscious and the subconscious, because all light come from darkness. That's what we are. We're a mixture of both, but we have to control our attitude and our disposition as spiritual beings of a righteous nature. We can't take on the nature of someone else because their nature is not righteousness. They're against nature since they came out of the caves of the Caucasus Mountains. And they came out of there with a revengeful vengeance. They're against the Creator, they're against nature, and they're definitely against us. Because we're the original people and they come from us. They are alter egos in one form or fashion or sense. Either we created them through cloning or whatever, or through mutation or whatever, but it's scientifically proven that their blood is RH from a genome primate substance or whatever, because when they was in the caves, they deal with the wolves. They fought against the wolves and they befriend the wolves and stuff like that. That's why they practice bestiality. It's in their nature. It's part of their culture. From the Hysops to the Greeks and the Romans. We got to study their history. They showed you movies and all that stuff of what they do, as well as they showed movies of what they done to us. So we cannot be susceptible and accept what they've done to us. We got to come out of the mentality, the spirituality, and everything, the physicality, everything. We got to be us, the energy of the Creator that's in us. That's what we have to do as a people. And we got to save ourselves from ourselves. We got to, I know that the avenues sometimes for us. We choose avenues. We choose to be a hustler. We choose to be a gambler. We choose to be a pimp or whatever we choose to do. We choose those avenues. If they have a destructive pathway, we don't need that. We need to develop that collective energy and do things legitimately, so we ain't got to worry about the slave catchers in our community. See, when we be community orientated, we in our community and we come together and we don't allow those things that be going on in our community to happen. But it starts with each individual purifying his temple. I say we got to change the language and we got to change the thought. Like they promote homosexuality, we got to promote stop taking drugs, stop selling drugs, stop drinking alcohol and all these things that put you in a state of stupor. You know, you put all this stuff, and just think about it, you putting alcohol in your system. Alcohol is a percentage of the rubbing alcohol. All this stuff is a poison. It messes with your organs. Smoking cigarettes the same way, even though it take years or whatever. They be talking about, I smoked for years. Yeah, you did. But you might can live for more years, or your internal organs may be more better and not harmfully affected. I can keep going on, but I just want to be more direct in what I'm saying. I just don't want to be talking for nothing, which I'm not. I'm talking to elevate, motivate, and stimulate us as a people and myself. As I talk, I'm listening too. And I want to go over things that's going to lift us up and build this foundation. Like we're brick masons. We got to make a foundation first. We develop a foundation and we build up. We build up on a spiritual basis, an economical basis, and an educational basis. That's what we got to do. We got to develop our own institutions of learning, like the Root Center and Baba Zulu up there on 5th and Q. To teach first, we got to plant this seed in our youth at an early age to know who they are, so when they come up, whatever they do after that, that seed is in their conscious and subconscious. To know who they are there and deal with African spirituality. Like this is Black History Month. It's a good thing Carter G. Woodson did, because it was a week at first to let us know about our greatness. But see, our story is every day. It will take forever to tell our story, because that's what we are from. We are from forever. We are part of the creative process. And we can't, and then we be redundant. We would be redundant on what we learn. Just like the African American Museum, we spoke about that also in our brother's circle yesterday. And the brother came up with a good analogy. He said the African American Museum. So what they saying is they dealing with our story of captivity, really. From, I know when I went down there, they started from Queen Nzinga first. But Queen Nzinga fought against the European to establish freedom among her people. She didn't just accept this concept of slavery or whatever, or their control, or their colonization of her people in her portion, or in her country. Because Africa got 53 countries. Africa is real vast, and we don't know that. We got to, get a clear concept of what we're dealing with. And Africa is a great, humongous continent that we can get America in there, China in there, and about 4 or 5 other so-called countries or that can fit in Africa. And we got to really realize that they just start from that timeline, come up from that timeline, come into the middle patches and all that, and then come through the slavery and all that. Then come through the black law and all that, civil rights and all that. We did all that, and we went through all that, and we still here. But that's the story that they want us to know. They want us to know that we are submissive, that we were slaves or whatever, but we were never slaves. That's a concept that if you accept, then that's you. But if you accept it mentally, then that's what you be. But we are natural human beings. We're not straw mans according to the corporations or the laws, maritime laws and all that. We are natural human beings, energetic beings from the divine decree that's in us by our DNA. And that's what we got to understand. So when they confine us in this, like there's 500 years or so of our captivity in America, that's not our story. That's a process that we went through to get to this glory where we're at now. Because we still here. Everything they done to us and doing to us now, we still here. Excuse me. And that's what my conclusion is, this. That their story about us is not our history. It's his lies to make him glorified. When I say him, I'm talking about those Niagathals. Because really they don't have a story. That's why they plagiarize our story from ancient Kemet or Abulan in the interior of Africa, from Timbuktu, and this other, it was one of the biggest colleges on the planet also, is in Morocco. I forgot the name of it. But they stole, if they trying to destroy the evidence of who we are and where we come from. They doing it, they in Egypt now, over there on the walls of the pyramid, chiseling away our picture, a picture of us, and then they put in a picture of them, trying to distort history. That's what they do, and make our story a mystery, like we ain't been here, like we ain't did nothing. They tried to do that before, saying we ain't had no contribution to civilization when we was the first civilization. They didn't have no contribution. We helped them get, when they was in Spain, when we went over in Spain, the Moors of Africa went over there and built up the whole Spaniard infrastructure. They didn't even have bathrooms, and that's why they wore the big hats, because they threw the defecation out the windows. The Moors did that through scientific knowledge that derives from the inside of Akabulan. It had a Islamic twist to it, but it was African that done that. And we got to realize that. See, our story goes way back before the 2017 years that we're dealing with now, and with that 500 or so years of the captivity that we went through. before they took and created they took Babel and created a Bible. They took real knowledge and twisted it all up and created a Bible and did with the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, but took it away from the Father, Mother, and Son, the natural process. We got to deal with nature, man, the aspect of nature to stay in line with our divine decree. We cannot go with some made up stuff to live our life correctly. Because how can you go against nature and be natural? That's folly and that's foolishness. But they have us so caught up, and they give us everything right and put it right before our eyes, and we can't even see it because our eyes are wide shut. That's not all of us, but the mass majority of us are caught up in this deception. And we got to come out of that Levitican, hypnotism, or the curse of Levitican, or whatever. We got to come out of that, because it's mass mind control that they're masters of. Use it in different forms and fashion. They're programming through the news, the television, and all that. That's programming, social programming. They're masters of it. That's what they do. They're masters of trickology, like poly tricksters. This so-called democratic process is demonic, really, in the essence of it. But we got to deal with it. We got to be warriors and go in there and try to, deal with things and pull things out that benefit us as a people. But we have to establish our own system based on Kwanzaa, based on African spirituality. That's what we got to do as a people, as a race of people. We have to do that. It's a must, because we cannot keep emulating these people and their system, because it's taking us down into developing self-destructive behavior, self-centered, genocidal behavior. Our young adults out there killing each other like it's a war, man. Every day is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 shootings. I'm just talking about in Ward 8. Every day one ambulance coming from an incident, then another ambulance going to an incident, another incident. It got to stop, and we got to stop it. We got to go to our youth and plead with them and talk to them. But we got to give them something that's going to benefit them. We got to give them information. We got to have jobs for them. We got to, make them become entrepreneurs, which they are on the legit side of things, so this war can stop within our community. We got to promote love and peace. We got to promote it. We got to promote entrepreneurship. We got to promote education. We got to promote them overcoming that animalistic nature, that predatory nature that's being programmed into them, because they're under robot control and don't even know it, because they lost their soul. And so with that, I want to say we got to start that yesterday. And I want to get back to the point that some of the discussions, like I said, everything that happens is by design, by those people that try to control our mind. They do, because we go to their institution of learning and all that, higher learning and all that. But we got the resources to develop our own educational systems. We got to do it out of strength and power. We can't be fearful of their power or whatever. Long as we do things legit, then it's no choice but for them to leave us alone. See, but if we keep assimilating deeper into their system, then we're going to be like them. This integration was so harmful to us. It was good when we were separate, when we had our Wall Streets and they was doing their thing, but they got jealous of us because we are more productive. Everything that we do, we are more better at it, when we're doing the right thing. So with that, my brothers and my sisters, I want to say in all true divine love, peace, and understanding, we got to come together. We got to demand that we do what's right, even in this political plight that we find ourselves with this asinine leadership that we have, thinking that Frederick Douglass is still alive And his wife talking about the Indians, the Native Americans should go back to India. It is like, how can this be the insanity that is being displayed in our position of leadership? And they allowed this to happen because this is what the institutional process allows. Anybody could have done what Trump did if the people just got behind him and the electoral voters also got behind that person, because the electoral votes are really what counts, not the popular vote, because Hillary had 3 million more votes than Trump had. But Trump said there was some voter fraudulent activity, but that is what alternative facts that he created. And alternative facts is just saying that he's lying. That's all. They create these new terminologies and stuff like that. We got to realize this system in this day and time that we live in is a criminal. It's a crime when they do what they got an objective that they're trying to reach, and they got us caught up in this vacuum of this political system. I'll say that we need to establish our own, and we got to pool the resources that we have. If we can spend $3.1 trillion 3 months, in a period of 3 months out of a year, that's $3.1 trillion because of these unholy holidays that they done got us so caught up into their way of life, spending that money saying that is based on celebration of what? Thanksgiving? That was murder and taking over people's land that helped these people, and they was thankful for doing that. They wasn't thankful for the help that they got from us as the Aborigine, or we can say the Native Americans or whatever, but they wasn't really thankful for that. They was thankful for they was able to take this land from these people, from us, really. Then Christmas on the other side of that, it's not about Christ's Mass. It's not about that. It's about the other side. Saint Nick was a jolly old fella, but we gotta understand that guess where it come from? It's originated in Germany. In Germany, what did they do? They annihilated the people, supposedly, but it was a plot and plan that when they killed and slaughtered all them Jews in the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust. Cool. But that's, another story. But they don't say nothing about us and our African Holocaust. More people were slaughtered in the continent of Africa, in the islands, and then over here in America. But they don't want to give us reparations, but they want to give them fake Jews at that. Reparation gave it to them. They even gave the Japanese reparations for what they did when they bombed Pearl Harbor and put them in internment camps. Gave them that. But what they did to us, of people, this 500 feet, almost 500 years of free labor to build this country up, they don't want to give us reparation. They reneged on our mule and 40 acres. And they don't even want to do that. So we got to do for ourselves with all this money we got. Talking about the Oprah Winfrey's, the Mayweathers, the Michael Jordans, the Bill Cosby, all us, the athletes, movie entertainers, and rappers and all that. We pooled our resources. That's the only way we're going to develop an infrastructure. They want to put up a wall to keep people out. They're also keeping people in. We need to build a wall also, a wall that will keep them out. There's a wall in our mind, not just a physical wall, but a wall that protects us spiritually, mentally, economically, infrastructure. We need to do that. If not do that, just pool our resources and just come together and build a Wall Street. Everybody just come together in the mind and spirit and be in harmony and peace, and really what we speak be about it. What we promote, be about it. We talking about revolutionary movements. Revolution is not always violent. It is, unless you're gonna overthrow something. Let's overthrow the mentality, that negative mentality that we have within ourselves first, so that if it comes to that level, which they're promoting an anarchy or police state, or pushing us for, manipulating us for a race war, let's clean up ourselves and purify so we can be ready for anything. We have to step down, step back, and be observant and watchful of this political machinery that's unfolding right before our eyes. And don't get caught up in the magician or the hocus pocus and the abracadabra of the poly tricksters, but deal with a divine eye, a divine understanding, and deal with it in a divine way. And with that, I want to say, have a great day, a most prosperous day. And when you see somebody, hug them. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that they are somebody. We are somebody. We are the original people upon this planet Earth. And do that through the breath of life of the Creator, the life that's in us, that spirit that's in us from the divine aspect of our being as the original people upon this planet Earth. And I want to say peace, power, and love to all melanated people upon the planet Earth, because this is a worldwide pandemic. The people that's doing this is connected through multi-corporations of corruption. They own the IRS, the Federal Reserve. There's not United States government entities. They are private corporations connected to the Vatican, London, and here. And if we don't understand that and get that under our psychic so we know what we're dealing with, then we're just going to be caught up in this vacuum of deception and emulation of our natural enemy. And we got to stop that. We got to come together through love and peace. We got to promote love, peace, and understanding. We got to go talk to our young warriors that's having this war in our city streets all over the country. We got to do that. That's our duty as a people, as a righteous people who have waken up and come out of the stupor and by divine decree on the pathway of our ancestors, in the positions of leadership, in the positions of development, growth and development eternally first. Because we got to develop ourselves. We got to go through, fight the war within ourselves, our nature, and bring our nature back into the natural, divine aspect of our being. And from there, we deal with our community, our households, and we come together in unity, come together in organization to develop an infrastructure through peace, love, and understanding. And all I want to say today, as I say every day, I love you, my people. And that love, I hope, is regurgitated, rescinded, just given back. Because I need it. I need that energy. I need to know that I don't stand alone, which I know I don't stand alone. Because I got you that's viewing me. I'm viewing you, and that connects us synergically, and that energy, the vibrations and the frequencies. We have one mind, one energetic divine line and synergy timeline. We need to get into that purpose and that goal that we coming through or to with the elevation of our soul, with the next phase of our lives. See, they trying to develop a new world order, but they don't know the natural aspect is going to create its own new world order, because that sunlight they can't stand. But it's going to elevate us, because it's going to stimulate the melanin, and the melanin is going to stimulate the pituitary and the pineal gland, and then we go beyond the five senses to be able to deal on the high essence in this realm and in this dimension. We got to believe that. We got to know that, because we're divine beings. And in all love and appreciation of my people, I say peace, power, and love. To tomorrow, when we can breathe that breath of air, that breath of the Creator's life that's in us. If He blesses us with that. Stay strong. Love y'all.